You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio. Welcome, listeners, to another episode of All Good Things, a Star Trek Universe podcast here on BQN and the Fandom Podcast Network. I'm your host, Amy, and with me today is Kelvin. Patreon patrons, remember, you can now watch All Good Things as an extended video edit of this very episode at patreon.com/BQN. Kelvin, hello. How are you?
Hello, my love. I am really good, thank you. I've had a very strange week this week. I'm getting straight in there to talk about my Redbubble shop. I have found myself on the wrong side of the law this week. So it started off, I created a Facebook page just to promote. So I wasn't constantly putting my new products on my main feed. I feel really weird when I'm trying to sell to my friends. It's like, no, I don't want to take money off my friends. It's the general populace. So I created a page, which then got reported and blocked. And I got lots of automated messages saying, I'm trying to be someone else or misrepresenting myself. And I'm like, what have I done? And I realized in the profile picture, I just used the Redbubble logo. So in effect, I was trying to mislead people to thinking I was that seller. So that was my first learning of the week. Like, Then a couple of days ago, I've had 15 out of my 100 designs removed from my store. Because,
now, wait a minute. They can just remove them.
Yeah.
Redbubble removed them.
Redbubble removed them because they've received a complaint that I'm misrepresenting the intellectual property of Paramount, that property being Star Trek. So they've removed 15 of some of my favorites as well. I'm gutted. Now, I realize I totally am using branding, things that don't belong to me, but I'm going by the rule of, well, so many other people are doing it on there, so if they can get away with it, why can't I? But yeah, and really annoying as well. We're talking like one of the final sayings of the episode we're reviewing today, engage the core.
Yes.
That t-shirt has been removed. It's one of my favorites. Ransom with his top off. Ugh. Anyway, so that's my week. How's your week been?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that rule of thumb, just because everyone's doing it, doesn't hold up.
No, I can imagine Captain Picard saying something of, just because everybody else does it doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Or Janeway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any of them. Yes. Well, what a learning experience, but you do still have some of them up, or are you
I've got loads. I've frantically been through and removed the word Star Trek from everything. Maybe that will help.
So your Space Girls is still available?
It is.
Okay.
It's a very reasonable price.
So do you mind sharing how many orders you did get before Redbubble came in and stepped in?
I've had several. I think altogether I've made around £50 in a month. Because sometimes if people just buy a sticker, like they want to put it on a water bottle or something, I only get about 30 pence. It's pennies. It's pennies. And it's not the money. It's almost the gamification of it. The fact that I've created something and someone else likes it. And it tells you where in the world they live. And in fact, the one sale of the Engage the Core design, which is no longer available, was from someone up in North Ayrshire in Scotland.
Oh,
Ewan.
Right. I know someone who has engaged the core.
Yeah, so that's really cute when you can guess who it is who's bought it. And Tyler is on the cruise now wearing one of my designs as well. He keeps sending me pictures. So.
Oh, how lovely. Oh, I love that. Oh, good. Well, talking about the cruise. Oh, everyone, we're so sorry we're not there. seeing all the pictures. It was great. Thad, host of Infinite Diversity, goes to the cruises, and he won the trivia contest with Chase Masterson.
He did.
Oh, that was so awesome. Just seeing. Oh, and then apparently Armin Shimmerman was serving drinks as bartender. So again, if you haven't been on the cruise, please go. It is such a different type of fan experience. Missing all of the friends. Oh, that's like the nexus, as we.
It's hard. It's hard from the outside looking in if you've experienced it, or even if you've not. You know, it's just so immersive. It is top tier convention, and if you are privileged enough to be able to go, I advise you give it a go at least once, and see what you think. It's a fantastic experience.
You've been.
Yeah, we did 3 in a row.
3, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, are you 4?
Yeah. I had the one before I met everyone.
You've always got one on me.
It's a little easier in the States. That's all I'm going to say.
You here, over here now.
All right. Well, this week's episode of Starfleet Academy, Cozine, is that how we're saying it? What an episode. The little synopsis is: during a school holiday, the cadets return home and must choose between what their families expect of them and their own dreams for the future. So, Kelvin, what did you think about this episode?
I really liked it. I mean, I think the recent trend of me saying every week is a better episode than the one before is now stalled, because I think this is possibly maybe the weakest episode of the season so far. However, I am not saying it was bad. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it. I'm just saying others were more to my fancy. But I really like the pause and the beat that they took, considering the events of last week's episode with, you know, the loss of a cadet, people dying, real danger experienced. And so, you know, Caleb's frustration and fear about reaching out, asking how she is, and just the fact everyone gets to relax and go home and reflect. And even Captain Aki was reflecting on everything, you know, with her stiff drink in hand. So I liked that, and I don't see it as a wasted episode in like a limited run. I think the character development we got was valid, important, and very similarly to Strange New Worlds, the amount of character development we are getting for these characters is so much that I feel after only 7 episodes now, I feel we've had a few years with them. I feel like I really know all of the main characters. And that is really to be applauded when we look at other shows, maybe like Discovery, that were focused on 1 or 2 people and everyone else was supplementary. They've done a really, really good job of making it an ensemble cast. Everybody's got their own story, and they've all had a story about them now.
Agreed. I really did enjoy this episode. I thought it was just as good as the previous ones. I was getting a lot of feelings from this episode. Like when Caleb and Genesis were together, it reminded me of when Una and La'an were on the ship together and, you know, doing their little bingo, like
bingo.
All the jinx, you know, hijinks ensue as them two going out. I thought that was just super fun to see their friendship and, you know, maybe a little flirtatious, something changed between them, you know, that glance, that look. And I'm like, don't you love that when that happens? So I love that they just were paused on it, but then continue on as friends. I got when they were taking Remy, I was getting like Starship Mine vibes of them. I need my saddle, you know. Like, so I was getting all these callbacks, and that's what I love about Star Trek. And this episode did it so well. But in the midst of real, I guess, not situations, real issues that teens and younger adults have to go through of who am I? Because you are on the tails of you're going to Starfleet because mom and dad are telling you, or for all these other reasons, but who are you? And then because previously they've learned to come together and accept and find true friendship. And now we're exploring ourselves. Like, the big picture ideas that they talk about in each of these episodes is why I feel Starfleet Academy is truly Star Trek for me.
Yeah, agreed. There's a lot of people out there who don't want Dawson's Creek 90210 in space, but I do. I love it. I love seeing these characters go through things that I did when I was at university in my first year at 18 years old. I love seeing them going out partying, that will they, won't they scenarios with them in the group. Are they going to hook up? Are they not? How will that affect their friendship? What about when they're posted together as officers? I love it. I'm here for it. And, you know, I don't want to expect Caleb to, you know, be walking around like Geordie LaForge. Or, you know, he's not a 40-year-old man. He's an 18-year-old. Let them be that, and let's enjoy the journey of them maturing. I'm not the same man now, age 45, that I was when I was at university. So I love it. And this storyline with Darren Remy, it rings such a lovely memory for me of he's trying to project a version of himself that he's really not. And you see this vulnerability in him that's been identified with Jaden confronting him. And what a lovely thing it's done for the character. It's made you just warm to him even more. He's really troubled. He's under so much pressure from his family. And he seems to be, yet to be unconfirmed, but he seems to be a closeted gay. And he is looking at Jaden, who's now with Kyle, and there's going to be a hint of jealousy. And I think we're going to get this, like, Ross and Rachel are friends. Will they get together in the end? And whether that is something that takes us up to the season finale or whether it's going to run through the series, who knows? But yeah, I really like this. And even the same with Caleb and Genesis. We like a love triangle. It works really well in drama.
It does. It does. When Jaden, you know, was helping Remy calm down, and then the callback to when Remy did that for Jaden with his public speaking was so tender. Like, it brought all those feelings back. And I'm like, yes, that connection was just visual between the actors. Their chemistry, so good. Yeah. All right. Well, we are definitely looking forward. Was that episode 7?
It was.
Oh, it can't be. Why? We need more.
We'll get more. 3 more.
Oh, that's it. All right, Kelvin, what are we going to be talking about today?
Well, today we are continuing our That's a Wrap series, part 4. And this series is where we examine the series finale for each of the shows. And this week we're focusing on Lower Decks. So we are looking at the new Next Generation. We didn't write a synopsis of this, so I'm going to
This was it. This was the synopsis.
Where lots of wild stuff happens.
Yes, that's all that was there.
Wow. What a very lazy website we've gone to.
No, that's from the Paramount Plus.
Oh, I love it. I love
it. So do you want to tell the listeners what the story plot was about?
I will, considering I've only just watched it a few hours ago. So we continue with the events of Fisher Quest, the episode before, and we are looking at lots of different quantum realities, and Boimler has identified our prime reality as a target spot to try and save the event, and that puts the crew of the Cerritos under a lot of pressure to sort things out before the reality is erased from history. And all while this is going on, there's the Klingon debacle. I'm already forgetting the characters' names, which is very unlike me, but there's a bit of a Duras revenge type thing going on with a character we have to sort out before we can close the singularity and save the timeline.
Yes, definitely high stakes for a series finale. So let's talk about. So this is the last series finale. How did it land for you emotionally, Kelvin?
It was sad because, again, like Discovery, the news came around that the show had been cancelled. Mm-hmm. So we don't know how much more stories Mike McMahon had to tell and the direction he wanted to go with these characters. I've been a little lazy myself. I should have really done my research before sitting down with you today. I don't know if this episode was written as a season finale or a series finale. Now, clearly there were some big things wrapped up in the end with a change in command, etc. But was that always supposed to happen if we were going to go into a season 6? I don't know. If you remember with Discovery, because it was filmed so far in advance, they went back and then they filmed the epilogue to make it a series finale. I don't know if that happened here. So I don't know. It seems like it could have been a season finale, but because a lot of the things happened, we got a series finale. So I'm satisfied in that way that things were tied up, but emotionally it landed heavy because there was no more. And Lower Decks was at its height. It was so popular. It seems to me that, no offense, it can't have been that expensive to make compared to the live action. So I don't know if budgets were a reason for cutting it, if it could have just gone on. So yeah, it just seemed a little bit unnecessary. The only thing I do say with my continuity and timeline hat on is the year of season 5 Lower Decks was the year before the start of Prodigy. So if we had a season 6, that would have taken place at exactly the same time as season 1 Prodigy. So we would have had an overlap and it would have caused a lot of continuity issues. So in a way, it's tidy that it finished when it did because it bridges the series together. You go straight from Nemesis to Lower Decks to Prodigy to Picard. And I kind of like that.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't even think about that overlap with Prodigy. I mean, which would be okay because we've done that, all in the 90s. But yeah, this is very neat and orderly, as you said.
Yeah.
I liked it. I was watching it and I was during the second part of Fissure Quest, I guess you will, that part of the story. I was just like, okay, this is a great story, but I'm not getting any series finale. And then you get the last little bit. And so you bring it up, Kelvin. It does, this little epilogue is very Discovery, like very intentional. You get your monologues from Mariner and summing up why she loves the crew. And so that the last 5 minutes absolutely gives you the good series finale. And I am all for it. I felt it ended things very similarly to TNG with the adventure continuing. Like that's how I want to remember my crew going on.
So is that your preferred finale? Unlike Deep Space Nine, which was a very much an end.
Yeah.
Voyager was an end.
Yeah.
Whereas kind of Enterprise, TNG, Lower
They're
Deck.
still out there in my mind.
Prodigy, they've gone on.
Yeah, they're out there doing their thing. And that's what gives me happiness for a series.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think I like that. I like a beginning, a middle, and an end. but I like the opportunities that a continuing mission, no pun intended, gives for beta canon opportunities.
Exactly. Because there's always that potential. Yep, let's pick up on that string like they did with Lower Decks. Yeah. So, talking about endings, did we like the endings for each of the characters? Was there anyone that was like, yes, this is exactly, or no, I didn't like this?
I did like them. I'm going to go straight to Freeman, because what I really liked is she got reunited with her husband on assignment. Because I used to always think during Lower Decks, were they a separated couple? It never seemed like they were married. I think they've even got different surnames, if I remember correctly. Not that that's a bad thing, but the fact, obviously, it was confirmed they're still together, and then they came back together because of the assignment. It reinforces this: marriages in Starfleet, you've got to make it work. It's always long distance. So that was almost like a happy ending in a way. She gets to go and serve and be with her husband on Starbase 80. So that was a favorite for me. What about you? What was a nice one?
You know, one thing that really surprised me, and now where I am, especially in podcasting with you and Christos, like I am now seeing the ship as a character. And so to have Cerritos going off and exploring the multiverse, like something completely brand new, instead of just our one little bubble of universe, like the Cerritos is doing seriously exploring. And I'm so happy for that little ship.
What do you think of Ransom as a captain?
I love it because they're exploring the multiverse. If it put him in our one universe, he's gonna, I don't know. It makes more sense to have him because of his flexibility with command and doing things and how he's so just outside of the box thinking. It makes sense for me to have him there and not in a captain in our prime universe.
Yeah.
Can I say that nicely?
Yeah, something with me is thinking, I don't know how safe the crew are going to be with him as the captain. He fouls up. He was often almost the Worf character of nobody went with his plan. And I know there was a lot of things in the episode that was earned about the promotion, the way he protected Freeman with that decision of hiding the Klingon. But it's a series finale, so you reflect over all of the character arcs. And he always just, I was going to say he was a comedy character. They're all comedy characters in the series. But I don't know how much credibility he had as a captain. So I would have liked to see that 2 number ones supporting a flawed captain. That would have been fun stories.
Yeah, that's an example of that outside of the box thinking. And it's like, okay, yeah, you had to, because who's really the main character? Boimler, Mariner. In fact, would you say that Mariner's more the main character or Boimler?
I've thought about this over the years and I can't decide. So I always go 50-50 Boimler, Mariner. I think I gravitate towards Mariner mainly because of Tawny and her contributions to the Star Trek universe and the fact she's just such a wonderful woman. But then, I think Jack's just got a bit more profile in the industry. He did feature more in the Lower Decks crossover, in the Strange New Worlds crossover. It's hard. Yeah, I think I'm 50-50.
Yeah, and because they each had their own monologue at the end of the episode. Because Mariner had hers first, and then Boimler with his log entry.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so they both got, 50-50. So I felt that first officer, that was cute. And they're like, no, we're going to compete against each other. We just became like really good friends, Their little high five and the Vulcan salute. I loved that.
Yeah.
And the cute little Rutherford and Tendi, will they, won't they situation. That's cute.
I'm sounding like I'm all about the romance today after what we've just said about Starfleet Academy. But I know there's been a lot of discourse about Tendi and Rutherford of people not wanting them to be together because why can't you just have
Friends.
A man and a woman be friends and there not be any sexual chemistry there? But I always wanted them to get together, so I was really happy with it, and I'm happy that it just continued the mild flirting. And again, so I see this as an unresolved thread that's purposely unresolved because it's not given. People who didn't want them to be together, you can say, well, they're not. And then people who want them to be together say, well, they're not yet together, but there's a hint. Yep. So everyone's happy with this one, surely.
Yeah. When Rutherford and his blushing, like, it just reminds me of Eugene Cordero, being with him on the ship. He is super shy. So to see his cartoon character blush, and then in my mind, I'm envisioning him on the boat, like following Tawny around and like, hi, and blushing all the time.
He is on the boat as we speak with Noelle. So Tendi and Rutherford are both on Star Trek cruise right now.
Oh gosh, so perfect. All right. So what about the themes that we got in this series finale? One that really stood out to me was this exploration. And that's what Star Trek is all about. And everyone's like, I like to see them explore. But what they did here was exploring yourself. Like Rutherford decided to remove his prosthetic, and he is who he is. Like all of our characters are learning about themselves, exploring themselves, but also exploring humanity and exploring the universe. And now we have exploring the multiverse. So that exploration idea hitting on every level, I felt was very powerful in this episode.
Me too. Couldn't agree more. And I think it's one of the strongest messages of Star Trek that I remind people that when people say Star Trek is about going out exploring space, well, actually, Star Trek is about exploring the human condition and exploring ourselves and the way we think and the way we react to the world around us and situations. And it often takes an alien's perspective to comment on how ridiculous we can be. So I've always loved that. I loved the Rutherford kind of tiring of the Cerritos all the way through the episode, and then this realization of how much he loves it at the end. And I think we've all done that. We've all taken something for granted. And actually, when you either lose that thing or you step away or something happens, you really appreciate it. So I love that part of the episode. But I think you cheated, actually, didn't you? You went back and watched Fisher Quest as well.
Yeah.
Now, Lily Sloan explicitly explains that their exploration is they're not going anywhere. They're exploring different fixed points in the multiverse. And when I watched that episode, I thought, wow, that's brilliant. That is almost like Quantum Leap. It's a great mechanism for storytelling. So the fact that encapsulated this vision of we explore ourselves, and they've explicitly said it now in Star Trek, is round of applause for me. That's what I want.
Yeah, I did cheat, and I put it in our little chat. I'm like, because I started the episode, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Because they start with the big, fissure opening, and I'm like, okay, no, gotta go back. So I'm almost wondering, I was thinking about with That's a Wrap of if it's a two-parter, I think we sort of need to watch both parts. My
is
little
it
caveat.
A two-parter though? Because no, I guess it is because they said previously on Lower Decks.
Yeah.
If it was a continuing arc, I don't think I don't know. Picard did that, I guess. Discovery did. But I watched it on its own and it made sense to me.
Oh, well, my memory's not as good as yours. And of course, another very common theme is your crew, is your family, and you learn to trust them. And oh boy, trust was in full swing, especially with Mariner and Boimler going to Captain Freeman, like when they got the pad, sent from bearded Boimler or whatever.
Yeah.
And she consistently trusted, even with the Klingons, and Mariner's like, Mom, you got to believe me. You got to believe me. And she's like, yeah, I do. And it was just like that simple. And I'm like, from where we started, that arc of trust between them, magnificent. Because
yeah,
they were seriously fighting and not getting along in season 1. It was season 1, episode 4. I remember when they had that big fight in the holodeck and trying to work together. That was their first step. Coming to now, beautiful.
You could even argue there was a reflection by Mariner in this episode of how she's not as badass as she used to be, and that's when she makes the guy jump in the 10 forward lounge. So she's been on a journey to kind of take her work a little bit more seriously, and the arc of the difference between an ensign and a lieutenant junior grade is very evident when they get identified as senior staff. It's true. If they are regular bridge serving officers, like, Harry Kim was an ensign, Dr. Bashir was only a lieutenant junior grade when he was chief medical officer on DS9 when he came on board. So you can be relatively junior by rank, but still occupy a senior position. And I loved that realization.
Every time so the lieutenant junior grade reminds me of Lieutenant Junior J, right?
Junior J. You're making it really hard for yourself there, baby. I think of Worf and LaForge, season 1.
Oh, yeah,
They
yeah,
were
yeah.
Lieutenant JGs, and then they got promoted.
Yeah, yeah. Very good. All right. Well, as every series finale should, bring back lots of callbacks and fan moments. So, any callbacks that just made you smile?
Loads. Oh my God, there was so much. The effect of this anomaly by de-evolving gave me very different feels, but all like for different reasons. So the what people tend to refer to as ship porn, there was an awful lot of when the ship becomes the sovereign class, but they didn't just do the outside, they did the interiors. All the bridge changed to look like the Enterprise E from the films. That was amazing. Wasn't keen that they went on an O-berth. That's probably my least favorite starship class.
Oh.
But the other one was the Discovery era Klingons. That was massive. That was a massive recognition and nod to have that in modern Star Trek, considering how much it was slated and panned.
No, yes.
That was like a big, FU to the haters. And I love that they owned it.
Yeah, that when they turned into the Discovery Klingons and the white, like for Laurel, I was just like, oh, bring it all back. Bring it all back.
I loved it. What was some of your favorite callbacks?
When Jax was like, the Terran Empire and we've got weapons. Oh no, they're offline. That totally made me laugh. But yeah, going back to the Terran Empire, like
there was one that was it a callback or was it me just being very pernickety? But they kept calling this effect a soliton wave. Now, a soliton wave we've seen before, and that was the propulsion method used in Next Generation's New Ground. So that was like the wave that they surfed.
Right.
And it was with Alexander and the little Corvin Gilvos things. Not a particularly great episode, but I was like, that's not what a soliton wave does. A soliton wave is a propulsion method. So was it a callback or did they just randomly take the name and completely recycle and use it? They've done that before. There's Form, the particle fountain themes to man. That was a completely different thing used in Voyager than when it was on Next Generation. But it is a callback nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give it its props.
One callback that really surprised me, and referencing previous episode of Lower Decks, was they brought back Starbase 80 and Commander Cassia Knox. That was fun because that was such a cute little episode, and to see Starbase 80 again, this old thing, analog, if you will, that is now useful. So that was a good callback.
That's an interesting thing to just discuss, because that's pretty much what happened in Picard season 3, isn't it? With the reason for getting the Enterprise D that wasn't connected.
Exactly.
So a Star Trek trying to tell us a message here to, as much as embrace modern technology, to not discard things that have come before because they're still useful. Is that a life message? Is it about sustainability, or I don't know, or is it just clumsy storytelling that they've used it twice?
Right. Well, and it's sort of like with Rutherford, removing his implant, like, going back to analog and unplugging and in a way disconnecting so that you can connect.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably too many tiny little callbacks to mention as well, but there was a lot in that monologue scene at the end, which really reminded me just how much of a rich series they've created with Lower Decks. The fact that we had all, the girls in the salon session with the crusher candle, the guy who ascended, fell back down, all of these previous supporting characters.
Gudgy,
Badgie, the dolphins. Are they dolphins or whales? Whales.
Beluga whales.
Thank you. Do you know who was missing? Jennifer was missing, wasn't she? The Andorian. She wasn't there. It's a shame. But everyone else was there, and it was like, oh yes, that one. So that was a very series finale moment to kind of say, look at everything we've done here.
Yeah. And that last scene when they were in 10 Forward. Oh, and I loved Mariner's like, whoever decided to put a bar on a ship. Like, yep, that would be Whoopi Goldberg. We needed a spot for her. But when they were panning around and seeing all the crew, there were all the aliens and the character in the hijab, like all these things. And it just irritated me because there were many people, and I'm going back to Starfleet Academy, they're like, oh, there's all these aliens enrolling, and it's just like a token. Oh, here's one of this, and here's one of this, just so we can get our diversity. And I'm like, this is not the first time Star Trek has ever done that. They show diversity, and here it is. Yep, here's your token alien. Here's this. We've always done that. And so for me to hear that from Starfleet Academy, this is a sidebar, I know, it was very infuriating. Look at Beyond, the movie that came out on the 50th anniversary, and the panning and all the different alien races that we had there. That was their goal. One of the goals of the movie was to have 50 aliens represented in that movie. Like, this is purposeful and intentful.
Yeah. And it is Star Trek. And the people who say those kind of things have never had to look very far to see themselves represented anywhere.
Right. Yes.
To see, if you're, if you're a Muslim Star Trek fan and you see someone wearing a hijab and you're like, oh my God, we exist in the future.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
It was huge for me to see Culber and Stamets kiss on screen. And even before that, seeing them stood next to each other, brushing their teeth.
Yes.
That final recognition of gays in Star Trek, it means a lot to see yourself on screen. Yeah. And, there's a lot of straight white men on screen. So for them to say, why do we need this token? Shut up.
All right. Well, let's get to some of our assimilations and regenerations. And since I am sharing these episodes a little bit more, I'm going to describe what this is if there's any new listeners. Assimilations are things that we enjoy. We want to assimilate and have more. Regenerations are the things that we didn't like, and we're just going to send them on back. So, Kelvin, hit me with some assimilations from this episode.
Okay. This episode gave me something I loved about something I hate in Star Trek. So let me explain that a little bit. This trope, I don't use that word. Christos says trope all the time, so I'm adopting it on his behalf. This trope of, the captain's got to have a phrase to say to go to warp. It really makes me roll my eyes. I don't enjoy it. But then when Ransom says engage the core, it is perfect. It's absolutely, it was so unexpected. I didn't guess it, but it is so good for his fitness and the warp core. I don't need to explain it. It's obvious what it means. But it was the best example of that trope, and it made me kind of think, yeah, it's not too bad. It was a good joke. I think it's when it takes itself too seriously, I don't like it. And that was the joke of it. It was great. So engage the core. Loved it. I'm now feeling sad that it's no longer in my Redbubble shop, but that's assimilation level. Let's move on. Give me another one quick.
No, I am, yes, absolutely going to say it was very good. Because with 7 of 9, that was a little awkward. Like, okay, this is just too much. But previously, before he said engage the core, it was Mariner who was complaining, no, we're not going to do the coach speak. And, because that's Ransom. All right, let's get together, team. No, we're not doing that. So for him to say, and it's like perfect, engage the warp core. Like it's double entendre at its perfection. Yes. I loved as they were going through those soliton waves, they were changing in the different classes. And supposedly, so were the Klingons, but it wasn't very recognizable. And so to have Anna be like, they always want their ships to look like big, stupid birds. And that's why their ships never changed, which is so in canon hilarious.
Yeah. If they could have, if they had the battle cruisers instead of the bird of praise, they could have made a joke saying it's a D1, no, it's a D2. Oh, it's a D3, it's a D7, it's a D7. Because they all look the same, but they just have a different number, D6, D7.
Exactly.
So that would have been a funny joke as well.
Yeah. And I mentioned this before. I just love knowing that they are still out there exploring. Just warms my TNG heart. They're out there. You can't tell me otherwise.
Yeah. Same for me with that final montage. It was a lovely way to wrap up, reflect, and kind of acknowledge everything that has come before.
Any regenerations? I had a hard time with this one.
Oh, God, all of the listeners must think I really don't like Klingons the way I go on about Worf all the time. I do. I really do. I just wasn't enamored with this storyline of the two Klingon brothers and the revenge story. It really reminded me of the Enterprise season 2 finale, where they fly into the expanse and they've got to deal with Duras before they actually get to it. It was exactly the same as that. And even in the dialogue, Freeman was saying, we don't have time for this.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I know. I don't want to watch it. I want to get to the multiverse elements and the anomaly and the special effect. So I didn't care for the Klingon storyline. And maybe if it was just a season finale, I might have looked at it a little bit better. But the fact it was the series finale, it wasn't, to me, worthy of being included in series finale. So that's a regeneration. I would have preferred a different B storyline.
First, I definitely agree with you, because that was, like I was saying earlier, just okay, here's the episode, and now here's really the series finale. This Klingon was just this storyline, and it wasn't that strong. I hardly remember how Mariner got him to be captain. So like there's some kind of tie there that's a callback, but yeah, it's those two Klingons were not my favorite either. But the Klingons were such a huge alien in TNG in the 24th century. So I'm like, I'm okay giving them homage to that.
I'm included in the series, absolutely, but just maybe not for this episode. I had one more as well, actually. And I think I've reflected on this, so maybe I might be talked out of this being a regeneration. But because Fisher Quest had T'Pol and Garrick and Bashir, and we knew it would continue in this episode, but the fact the voice actors didn't contribute to the characters, and you just kind of saw them on screen in the montage, I felt that was disappointing because we just want more. We want more Jolene Blaylock. We want more Andrew Robinson, and we didn't get them, so that's disappointing. However, it's not really about them. It's about the regular Cerritos crew. It's their finale. Let's not do an Enterprise. These are the voyages on them. Let's let them shine in the finale. So as much as I was disappointed that we didn't get more, in hindsight, I think it was the right decision.
You know, as you're saying, this makes me feel like this really is a 2-part finale, because Fisher Quest is like a 24th century finale, because we're bringing back but we're bringing back those characters from, the 90s Trek. So if you combine that, then we are really summarizing and ending this 24th century era.
It was a better Berman era wrap up than Nemesis wraps everything up.
Oh, for sure. Yes.
Yeah. In terms of like inclusivity of, Harry Kim was there from Voyager, T'Pol from Enterprise, Bashir, Garrick from DS9. Everything was wrapped up.
Yeah.
I've never thought of that. Lovely.
Yeah. Well, let's get to some trivia. And we did talk about the catchphrase, but the catchphrase was actually discussed, like written in the script. And this has been done in Discovery with Saru in The Sanctuary, Strange New World in The Broken Circle, and of course, 7 of 9 in Picard, The Last Generation.
Mm-hmm. And similarly, Relga and her crew transform into proto-Klingons. And this is the same type of creature which Worf de-evolved into in Genesis. That was a brilliant callback.
Yeah, that was. Kelvin, I really want you to read this one too. So go again.
Okay. Also, we have during the chaotic sequence in the probability field, the Cerritos transforms into several iconic starships, including the Freedom class, which is the one with the single warp nacelle, the Sovereign class, the Oberth class, and the Miranda class. I always remember that was a question on Trek Masters. I remember Davey said, name all the starship classes that the Cerritos transformed into. Everyone used to forget the Freedom class because it's not really a hero ship. It's quite a random one.
Mm-hmm. So what would be the Oberth class and why don't you like it? You mentioned that.
Well, it always gets battered for a start. So it's not very, powerful as a ship. It was always the science vessel that the Enterprise D arrived to save in Next Generation.
Oh,
So they could never sort things out on their own. They're the damsel in distress of Starfleet ships.
Okay.
There's
that
nothing.
Makes sense.
I don't even like the design. I don't like the look of it. There's the kind of little tiny saucer section. It just reminds me of like a budget car. It wouldn't be very expensive if you had to buy one.
All right.
Well, so this is all making sense now. On the old customizable card game that I used to play in the 90s, which if you think of like Top Trumps, the Oberth class was never very powerful. So like hull, shields, weapons were always like 4 or 5. And then you get a Galaxy class 8 or 9 or 10. You would never choose to play with that ship because you've been dealt a weak hand. So subliminally, I always think an Oberth ship is a bit rubbish.
Yeah.
Apologies to anyone who loves them.
Well, that does make sense. Yeah. All right, Kelvin. Well, let's get to our final thoughts. How well did they wrap up the series? And is it the best wrap up that we've seen out of the previous 3 we have discussed, which is Discovery, Life Itself, the original series Turnabout Intruder, and Voyager Endgame? Who did it better?
Ooh, so I think they did do a good job of wrapping up the series in hindsight. I think going into my rewatch, I would always have said, yeah, it ended prematurely as a series. And I think that's only because I wanted more, not because we needed more. So in hindsight, I now accept a couple of years later, it was a good series finale. But if I'm looking at the list, and remember, we always say about this is how I'm feeling today. This is where we are now. This may not be my answer the next time we do That's a Wrap. I'm going to go for Voyager Endgame because it was the end. They got home. It was a great finale. And, 2 Janeways are always better than 1.
That is true. She is amazing. Gosh, why did you have to say that? Because I was like, oh, it is between Endgame and Lower Decks. I definitely, as I mentioned before, if we combine Fissure Quest and the new Next Generation, hands down, for sure. They wrapped up the series. They wrapped up the 24th century. They wrapped up, and they're still exploring. So for those reasons, for me, this definitely is the superior series finale for me.
Oh, love it.
Yeah. What's happening on BQN, you ask? We're not just a network. We're a universe of exploration, entertainment, and deep dives into the topics you love. Here's your star map to the sonic adventures awaiting you. Let's chart the Star Trek cosmos with all good things. Embark on a comprehensive journey through the entire Star Trek universe with the insightful crew of Amy, Christos, Kelvin, and Kristin. From classic to current, they cover it all. Galaxy class, engage! Steven and Stefan pilots this Alpha Quadrant mission, meticulously covering all aspects of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Infinite diversity. Stay current with the newest Star Trek frontiers alongside Chrissy and Thad. Union Federation. Whether your allegiance lies with Starfleet or the Planetary Union, Kyle, Kevin, Amy, and Haley offer a unified front, discussing both current Star Trek and the truly Trek at heart, the Orville. Crack open that book with Peter and the Trek Book Club podcast. Delve into a rich tapestry of Star Trek's beta canon. What's the tea, Bev? Christos spills the latest Trek news and fandom insights with an essential LGBTQIA+ perspective, complete with engaging guest interviews. Our visual voyages that you can find on YouTube as well as podcasts are Trek Masters. Think you're a Starfleet Academy graduate? Test your knowledge with Davey and MC's challenging Star Trek quiz show. And the View Screen. Tune in live on Sundays for your dose of a Trek-inspired talk show. Kelvin and Amy host new 8-week seasons each spring and fall. But beyond the final frontier, we have Bargain Bin Gamer. Davey and Mitch, your self-proclaimed gamer guides, lead you to digital treasures, unearthing and reviewing the most affordable video game gems. Cinema Z. Grab your metaphorical popcorn for Mark and Matt's cinematic deep dives, unearthing overlooked films that demand your attention. history with the Zalagis. In order to never repeat it, tune in as Chrissy and Jason deliver bite-sized snippets of historical events from around the globe and transformational journeys. Host Lex Rosa explores what it means to embrace authenticity in the face of societal expectations. You can unlock deeper levels of engagement with our exclusive patron perks. The Hive Mind is where you can join our random script readings, live reaction shows, and roundtable discussions. You can also now watch All Good Things as an extended video edit and get a background look into the creation of a podcast. Also, check out our back catalog of It's Green and Amy's Math Moments. Stay connected to our ever-expanding galaxy of content by following BQN Podcasts on Instagram, Bluesky, YouTube, and Discord. We appreciate you choosing BQN to fill your auditory needs. Thank you for listening. Assimilate the audio. Well, listeners, what's going on next week? Well, not much, but we would like to introduce you and remind you that we have season 5 of the View Screen coming back. Kelvin, tell us about it.
Well, how opportunistic that it's just you and I here, Amy, and we get to plug our other show in the absence of Christos and Kristin today. We didn't plan it that way, honestly. So, yeah, that really is a wrap on All Good Things. We've ended our series run here. We're taking a couple of weeks hiatus, mainly so Amy and I can fly across the world to Davy's wedding in Australia next week. So we're looking forward to that. But when we return, we're taking a week off and the View Screen is going to return. We're going to do a shorter series than usual. We're only doing a 6-week run this season, mainly because we're a little later in starting because we are taking this downtime for Australia.
And
but
someone needs their summer vacation.
Yeah, and we need to end in May because I've got a lot. And I can't imagine you going on without me. So yeah, we've got all of your favorite guests lined up, all of our regulars. So there's going to be food and drink, astronomy. We'll get Jim in for some trivia. I'm realize I'm shouting all these out now. We've not had confirmations yet, but I hopefully won't have to retroactively apologize for that. So yeah, the View Screen is back as you know and love it.
Yes. So please go on over to YouTube. Make sure that you have subscribed to our BQN podcast channel so you don't miss it. Again, that's March 22nd. So we've got a couple weeks off without us. Yes. But and we are excited.
Usual 9 a.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. UK, live. Watch us live, contribute in the chat. There's loads of opportunities for you to ask questions to all our guests. So we love it when people join us live, but we're just as good to watch on catch up on YouTube if you find you're too busy or too hungover on a Sunday morning to watch us live.
And we do put it out as a podcast, but we really feel this is a YouTube. Please watch us.
Yeah. It's a community event, and that's why we do it live, because we want the community to be part of the show. So we have regular listeners, watchers who are there with us in the chat every single week, and we love that. But we just love to see our little audience grow. So yeah, join us if you can.
Yeah. Well, we would love to hear what you thought of today's show. And there are many ways you can do this. You can join our Facebook group, the BQN Collective. You can join our Discord server, or you can follow the network on Bluesky and Instagram at BQN Podcast to continue our discussion there. You can find the links and the invite code in our show notes. Kelvin, where can people find you when you are going out to rescue an Oberth class starship?
Won't waste my dilithium.
We don't have time for this.
I'd rescue the people on board in jeopardy. I wouldn't be bothered about the ship. There you go. When I am not doing that, you can find me on the socials at Kelvin's Timeline. You can find me in the BQN Collective Facebook group. And as Amy's just said, you can find us live at 5 on the view screen starting 22nd of March for 6 weeks. Or if you want to rest from me, you can wait all the way until May when All Good Things will return. And Amy, where can people find you when you're not devolving into a Kurtzman era version of Amy Nelson?
Oh my goodness. Well, when I am not doing that, and thankfully not so, I'm a much better person now. You can find me, here on the view screen. Come find us March 22nd. That would be 9 a.m. for my neck of the woods. You can find me, yes, in our Facebook group and on our Discord server. If you would like to help us keep all of our shows coming to you each week, you can become a patron of the network on Patreon. For just $1 a month, you can join our Let's Go to San Francisco show. That's our recap show. Our script readings, or enjoy our special patron-only shows of It's Green and Amy's Math Moments. Visit patreon.com/BQN to get all the details and watch your messages.
Now, if becoming a patron isn't your thing, don't worry. You can still support the show by sharing our posts on social media, talking about it with your friends, or hitting the like and subscribe button on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts, and leaving us a 5-star rating and written review, so that will help others to find the show.
At this time, we would like to thank our very own associate producer, JJ Seastrom, and a special thanks to Graham Kelly for our opening and closing music, and to Kelvin, who does our weekly artwork. Thank you for listening.
We hope you'll join us as we search out
all good things.